Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, and it's another online tutorial with Jenie concept. For this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this trending body pleated turban cap with loop embellishment and backdrop effect. Oh yes, if you are new to this channel and you are yet to subscribe, please kindly do so by clicking on the subscription button and also on the bell icon to enable you get notifications on all new tutorial upload. And if you have done that already, thank you so much and I'm very grateful. Please don't forget to like, share and leave a comment. Let's get started. For this tutorial, the materials needed include your fabric. I made use of a scuba fabric with flower designs on it, needing your scissors, your measuring tape, your tailor's chalk, and matching color of thread and needle. For this tutorial, I made use of the following measurement. However, depending on the size of the design you are trying to achieve, it can be altered. For this tutorial, I'm going to be working with this piece of fabric. It's a stretchy fabric and then it has design on it. So it's either called the pattern scuba or the flower scuba fabric. Now I have my fabric cut out and I'll be giving out the measurements. For the band, because our design is divided into three parts: the band, the base and the loop. So for my band, I have my fabric cut out already, and then the measurements for this is 23 inches by 5 inches. 23 inches for the head circumference, which is the length, and 5 inches for the width, which is the depth. From here to here is the 5 inches, while the full length is the head circumference, which is 23 inches. That is it for the band. Now for the loop, this is the piece of fabric for the loop. It is 4 inches wide and then 7 inches long. 4 inches by 7 inches for the loop. And finally, my fabric for the base. Now for the base, the head circumference is 30 inches, which is the length, and the width also is 30 inches. So it is 30 inches by 30 inches. Please, I want to emphasize that while cutting out the fabric for your length, always ensure that the head circumference, which is the length, is cut across the stretchy part of the fabric, while the width should be cut across the non-stretchy part of the fabric. So here I have my fabric, 30 inches by 30 inches. For my loop, 4 inches by 6 inches, and then I'm going to fold it into this way, and then I'm going to be sewing. Okay, I'll sew from this end down to the other end, and after sewing I'll turn my fabric inside out. Here I have the fabric for my loop, 4 inches wide by 7 inches long. I folded it into two with the fine side inside and the wrong side facing me, and I've sewn from one end to the other, and then I will proceed to turn the fabric inside out. And after turning the fabric inside out, I have the sewn part at the middle. Now I'm going to keep this outside until it gets to when and where it will be needed. Now get the already cut out fabric for the base and flip it over to the wrong side. Flip your fabric over to the wrong side this way, and then get your measuring tape, and we're going to be marking on our fabric. We're trying to get the pleated or the gathered turban. Okay, that's what we want to work on. Now from one end, start measuring out 2 inches and mark. So you measure out 2 inches and mark. Do this till I've gotten to the end of the fabric. So this is my piece of fabric and I'm done marking my lines from one end to the other, and also from my right side to my left side, an interval of 2 inches each. And having done that, I'm going to place my fabric on my sewing machine and I'm going to be sewing it down. This is how I'm going to be sewing. For every mark which I have, I'm going to fold it into two this way and then sew by 1/4 inch. I'll just sew it down to the end. As soon as I'm done sewing for that line, I'll pick the second line, the next line, fold it again into two this way and sew by 1/4 inch all the way down to the end of the fabric. And that is how I'll keep folding for each line and sewing until I've gotten to the end of my fabric. Please kindly note that I'm making these lines across the stretchy parts of the fabric. Remember that our fabric is 30 inches by 30 inches. Yes, but the head circumference will be across the stretchy part of the fabric. That is where I marked my lines. I have my fabric here and then I've sewn. Like I said, after making your mark, after marking out your 2 inches on your fabric, you pick one line and then sew by 1/4 inch from one end to the other end. Pick the other line and then sew from one end to the other end. So this is what I meant by that. And then I've sewn down all the way to this other end. This is the wrong side of my fabric, and then flipping over to the fine side of my fabric. This is how it looks like. So this is what I get. To continue, I'm going to fold my fabric into two to get the midpoint of the fabric, okay? And then I'll get my chalk and I'm going to be marking it. I have the midpoint of my fabric here, so I'm going to mark it down. And then I'll get my band. I will now fold it into two. After folding into two, I'm going to mark the middle part of it. So this is it. I've gotten the middle point of my band. Now I'll get my base. Then get the band and place on the base. Meanwhile, I will ensure that the middle part of the base and the middle part of the fabric align together. So I'll fold the band into two with the wrong side inside and the fine side facing me, and then place on the base. So I'll place it down this way. So this is the middle part and I'm going to pin it down to hold it in place. And then coming to this end, I will also pin it down. Now at this point, I want us to carefully observe the way our fabric is. If you remember that the band is 23 inches for the head circumference, while the length of the base is 30 inches, which is 7 inches bigger than the band, as opposed to the normal turban cap which we make. Now if you observe at this end, there is a bit of allowance from the band and on the base, okay? Both ends are not aligning. The same thing for the other side. This is the band and this is the base, okay? There is an allowance here. The ends are not meeting each other. That is how your work is supposed to be. And then, having both sides that way, I'm now going to sew my band from this end down to the other end where the band ends. That is this point here. The reason for the different length measurement for both the band and the base is so that the cap can have the drop back effect. But remember, to be able to get this accurately, you have to ensure that the middle part of the band aligns with the middle part of the fabric, so that you can have this allowance at both ends, this space at both ends. So I'm going to sew my band to my base, and then after that I'll get back. This is my fabric, and then I've joined the band, and you can see that this side is open like I was trying to explain earlier. This is the band, and then this other side is also open. So I've joined the band to my fabric, and then I have it this way. And then for the front side of my work, this is how it looks like, all the way down to the end this way. To continue, I'm going to fold my work into two so that I can get the middle. So this is it. I'm folding it into two. The base, both ends of the base meets together, and then also both ends of the band meets together. Then I will get the middle of my fabric. This part here is the middle of my fabric. So at the part where I have the middle of my fabric, I'm just going to be pulling it to form my gathers. Okay, I'm trying to form gathers here, and then I'll open up my work, and I'll get the fabric for my loop, which is this piece of fabric, and as you can see, the sewn part is at the middle, and then I'm going to be placing it this way. Okay, I'm going to be placing it at the middle. Okay, the sewn part is here, and then I'm going to stitch this on this side. Okay, at the end there, I will stitch it down to hold it in place, and after stitching down, I will get back and will continue. So this is my work, and I've sewn down this part. I will get my scissors to cut off this excess, and after which I'm going to turn my work inside out to the other way, this side. And then this part that was sewn, I'm going to drag it down to the back, that is the wrong side of the fabric, this way. So this is how I have this part to be. Now to continue, still fold your work into two this way. Okay, the side of the band should meet, and the side of the base should meet. Now this is what you get, and as you can see, the band did not extend to the end of the base. The essence of this is to enable the cap achieve the backdrop effect. So we're going to sew following the way the fabric is. Okay, we want to join it together to form our cap. Now start sewing from this part here. Sew down this band, and then curve down to this end. Sew this part, close it up, and then continue. Sew down from this end down to this end here, and on getting to this end, you have to make a curve. Okay, and then please keep following me. Curve it down this way, all the way down. Keep making your curve until you get to this part where your loop is. So that is how we are sewing. I'm going to take it down again. So this is it. Now follow the pins, sew down the band, and then when you get here, bring it down to this end and sew down this end. Now start stitching down. Yes, stitch down all the way to this very end, and on getting to this end, you have to take it over and stitch down this end down to the point where you have your loop. So I'm going to stitch and get back. This is my fabric, and I'm done sewing. This is the band, the side for the base. I've sewn all the way down, and then I took it down again, and I've sewn down to this very end where I have my loop. So that is where it ends. And now to end this, I'm going to make a running stitch. My running stitch is going to be starting from this end. I'm not touching this end here, this upper part. I'm not touching it. I'm only working on the side. So from this end down to this very end here, that is where my running stitch will be. Here I have my needle and thread, and then I'm going to start making my running stitch this way. So I pass my needle in and bring it out. So this is what I'll do till I get to the end of the fabric. So after making my stitch, this is what I get, and then this is how this end and the band is. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to turn my fabric inside out to show us how it looks like. So I'm setting my loop fabric in place, and then this is it. So this is my turban cap. Yes, it's my pleated turban cap with loop and back dropping. Okay, it drops at the back. Now I'm going to wear this on the mannequin head to show us how it looks like. So this is my turban cap, and as you can see, this is it. The pleats are there, the loop is here, this is the band, and then as you can see the back, the way the back drops. So this is the side view, and then this is the front view. So this is it for this particular design. Now please note that if you want it to drop more than this, if you want your design to be bigger or smaller than this, you have to alter the measurements that I used to give you the required or the desired result you want to get. And so with this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you're here to subscribe to our channel, please kindly do so by clicking on the subscription button. You can also follow us on Facebook by liking our Facebook business page, which is Jenie Concept, and also by joining our Facebook group, which is Jenie Fashion and Craft. Bye. See you in our next tutorial.